Hello everyone and welcome to Careers Bistro, your favorite Friday segment. Today in studio I'm joined by the lovely Desiree. She's from the National Theatre of Namibia and today she's here to talk to us about, what they've been up to at NTN. So how are you, Desiree?
I am lovely, thank you. It's such an honor to be here. It's my first time on the show, so I'm really excited.
Okay, so tell us about the work that you do at NTN.
I speak for the theatre, more like the spokesperson, of course, and in corporate world, which is known as a public relations officer for the National Theatre of Namibia.
Yeah.
I'm quite passionate about administrating the arts, so I'm quite excited about what I do.
Okay, so today Desiree will be still spilling the tea as to what has been happening there at NTN. So we're specifically talking today about the open call for writers to submit their work. Do you want to tell us more about that?
Of course, I like how you say spilling the tea. There's always some tea to spill with the National Theatre of Namibia. We're the House of Performing Arts. So right now we have an opportunity for young, professional and in fact all creatives or to submit works to the National Theatre of Namibia, which gives anyone an opportunity for their works to be produced by the NTN and have it staged from 2021 to 2022, which is the time frame where we will start with a brand new season. So quite stoked about it, quite excited to works that we're going to receive. So I'm really looking forward to, and I'm really hoping that everyone grabs the opportunity to submit works.
So all the storytellers, script writers out there, this is your chance. But of course, the NTN has mentioned that you are, of course, encouraging local works especially. So do you want to tell us why that is and why it's important to have these stories told in local languages?
Well, I think for such a long time, you see, there's a word that says that if you do not take ownership of your narrative, which in this case would be a Namibian narrative, because I guess the theatre is a place where you get an opportunity to tell Namibian stories. And a lot of people are very familiar with productions in South Africa. We've just passed Youth Day, such as Sarafina. So when is Namibia getting to a point where we who tell our own Sarafina stories, that our stories, we are the owners of the narratives of our stories, and that they get an opportunity to be seen by everyone across the world, so that when they hear it is Namibian stories. You know, you see a lot of Shakespeare, and these stories didn't just become famous out of nowhere, but that we get to a point where we produce works that is really of that caliber and also just an opportunity to tell our own stories. So we definitely encourage that in own stories and definitely local vernacular, because I think as custodians of performing arts and culture in a way, we have a responsibility to also safeguard our languages. So that is a great opportunity for people to submit works in local languages, and it would just be amazing to come from Timbuktu and see a production that's in San, or a production that's in Osherero, or so that we are able to tell our own stories for our audiences and for the internationals alike.
Definitely, because I think when you're watching a movie and you hear somebody mention Namibia, you get so excited. So imagine having a whole production streamed globally.
Exactly.
So that's great. But you also mentioned earlier on before the show that we are encouraging especially communities that are underrepresented in theatre. Do you mind giving us maybe a description of what communities we're talking about here?
I mean, I would probably just bring with a bit of history for the theatre, that for a long time, I suppose, that we haven't had, like when was the last time, for instance, or have you seen enough productions of underrepresented communities? And here we are talking about minority groups such as the Bushmen. How are we making sure that their stories also get an opportunity to be told on the National Theatre of Namibia stage? How do we make sure that stories that are in Nama, for instance, are being told? So here is an opportunity. I think 30 years after independence, it would only be very just and also very entertaining to make sure that we provide opportunity to all communities, so that we are such a diverse country, and I think it is our diversity which makes us so unique, and we should be able to tell those stories and make sure that everyone's story has an opportunity being told.
True. So in a way, we're kind of also advocating for inclusivity.
Exactly.
So it's not just mainstream. We want everybody to join in. So if you're listening, this is your chance. But of course, over to submissions for this open call. How does that work? Where does one get applications? And what's the process like?
Okay, firstly, the call out makes provision, like I said, for amateur, and then this time I think we've really broadened the scope as not only for performing arts, but that there's also digital art, for instance.
Okay.
There's opportunity for people that would like to try out new forms of theater. You know, we are changing. Change is the only constant. So we try to incorporate as many creatives as possibly, that it is not limited to only just singers, dancers, actors, the traditional performing art as you know it, but that this is also open to other creatives, like if you are a filmmaker and then you'd like to do an installation, for instance, at the theater, that there is an opportunity. Of course, there are very clear guidelines as to what types of work we are looking for. So once the submissions, once you have submitted, of course, like you have an opportunity to go through those. You can visit our website, which gives like a great description of each of the programs that we have, and you will be able to better judge as to where I can submit my work, depending on the type of creative that you are.
So is this an online application then? Or are there physical copies to be handed in as well?
Well, we try to maintain or keep with the rules of social distancing. So for now, you can download the forms from our website, which is www.ntn.org.na. You can download it from there. Of course, we have our contact details also on our website. If you are unclear of anything, that you can contact our office and then request for an application form. If in any way you shouldn't have trouble downloading it from the website, but in the event it happens, there's of course an opportunity, so you can send your queries through to the pro@ntn.org.na.
Okay. And last but not least, there's a Facebook session where you'll of course be providing more information on the topic we've just discussed. Do you want to shed more light on that? How can I be part of the discussion?
Okay. I would really encourage you, if you are interested in the creative arts. I know that there's a lot of people that have scripts or synopses, ideas just lying at home and then thinking, how do I make sure that my story gets an opportunity to be told to the world? So here is an opportunity, and the only person that stands between you and your chance is really you. So submit your works. We have live sessions if and at all you need more information on it. Like I said, if you visit our website or any of our social media pages at National Theatre of Namibia, you will have an opportunity to go through all of our programs. And if you have any questions or anything that you'd need to be clarified on, please join our live session. It's on the 10th of July. We'll have our second live session where you have an opportunity to ask questions. We basically make sure that there's a representation in terms of the public house, which in this case would be me. We have someone that will join within the talks that speaks from the perspective of the artistic direction of the theatre, just for you to be able to get another different understanding. And then we get into the technicalities, where we also have our production coordinator, and it's really just an opportunity where you get all your answers at once. So tune in. We go live on the 10th of July at 3 o'clock. So any questions or any queries, you still have an opportunity. And of course, the closing date for that is the 20th of July. So you literally have 10 days for you to still do any questioning. But I know that you have stories. I know everybody has stories to tell. So I'd really encourage you to make sure to submit your stories before the closing date.
Okay, so on that note, thank you, Desiree, for joining us in studio today and for shedding light on that. I hope everybody that was watching is excited to share their stories with the NTN and the world. Of course, imagine having your production stage on the NTN stage. I mean, that's big. So, of course, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Desiree, for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.